umuntu nasanguka kabenda inakana winga banina kwana winga ya uleni banina kwana winga ya uleni
My name is Betty Mead. I am the mother of Dr. Tim, who moved here in 2003. He adopted a little boy, at that time a baby, and so we were anxious to come to Lusaka and meet the baby. And we came in 2004 in March.
There was a hard start and a lot of work. But I always think about to me, it's how it was a grassroots kind of an organization, and it still is. And we've been able to stick with our mission and helping children and pregnant women. And we have found as the years have gone by that it's more than just buying medicine. Pretty soon these children are growing and they need to go to school, so they need a uniform, and find that they might come from a surrounding that or an environment that doesn't have nutritional, stable food and clothing. So that expanded a little bit more. And
during that time, we went to a place where Tim was volunteering called John Hospice. It was a little round, there was a hospice there, but there was also a little round thatched roof cottage with 30 children in it. They were all HIV positive and not on medicine.
The point is that as we've gone through this past 10 years, which this is our 10th year, is that we've grown to meet the needs. And the people can see that, our supporters see that. I think that things have changed here slightly, so we've expanded some areas and gone back, but we're still basically with the same mission, the same concern for children, trying to support all of that and get support to do that. And in the meantime, we've partnered with some larger organizations to take care of specific programs that they feel is important, and they feel that our organization can do a good job of helping with that. So that's been the association with some larger NGOs, but still remain basic and pretty, we still think of ourselves as kind of a small organization.
We were fortunate because Tim, our son, was the one really on the ground here doing all the work. And he found some wonderful people to work with him.
My name is Dr. Tim Mead, and I'm the country director for Tiny Tim and Friends and also the medical director. Tiny Tim and Friends is first and foremost a medical organization. We do a lot of outreach, we do a lot of testing, but what makes us different is that we actually enroll the positive children and the positive pregnant women that we uncover in the compounds. And that makes us different from just a regular testing and counseling organization. We do a lot of testing and a lot of counseling, but what makes us different is that when children are having trouble and when pregnant women are having trouble either getting on medication or staying on medication, we're able to help them with that. Our counselors are great at adherence counseling. We have group counseling sessions. We have groups for kids that make them feel more comfortable with the stigma and the discrimination associated with HIV and AIDS.
Hi, my name is Justin Songer. I'm from Tiny Tim and Friends. We're here in Chihuahua. I'm doing outreach.
I'm the adherence counselor at TTF clinic, and what we are doing here is actually we are trying to identify children that are exposed to HIV in community schools.
Chihuahua has a high prevalence rate of HIV, so we decided to come and work in this compound.
After we identify them, we then make up a follow-up to enroll them on our program.
This school is called Mashboden, and the head teachers allowed us to come and test here. So we'll set up the testing room, and then we'll have the kids come in one by one after signing the consent forms.
We first start by talking to the parents what we are actually, and they need to understand also the concept, in such that the concept is not in a common language. Maybe it is used in English, but most of our parents, maybe they are not really educated, and we need to make sure that we explain to them what that concept really means.
After they get their consent form signed, we'll test the child and get the results. If the parents are not here with them,
we give the results to the teacher if the parents are not available, or if the parents are available, we just give their directive the results.
Those that are identified as being positive will be enrolled into Tiny Tim and Friends Clinic. Those that are negative, we'll give them reinforcement of ways of how they can live their lives and keep on being negative.
Then if at all things are quite difficult with them coming, we have got our TTF women group, which actually we use to talk to the parents, and also they can, the TTF women can pick that same child and bring the child over to the clinic for enrollment.
So the women's group have done a great job, and they've had a lot of training, and they're the ones who bring these children into the compounds that they think need to be here.
Tiny Tim and Friends Clinic is currently held in a parking lot behind a much larger clinic. But in spite of that, we try and make it a friendly and safe environment for people. When people first arrive, they register and they're given their chart, and then they make their way to the counselor. The counselor talks to them about how they've been doing, taking their medication, and if they've missed any doses of medication and why. And of course, with children and younger people, there's always a lot of questions about, have they got enough to eat? Is the environment that they're in supportive enough for them? Is somebody helping them to remember to take their medications? Then the child moves on into the examination room, where a clinical officer examines the child from head to toe, looking for any evidence of opportunistic infections or other infections associated with HIV and AIDS, particularly tuberculosis, which is a big problem in our population. As many as 1 in 3 people with HIV at some point may be infected with tuberculosis. So that's a really important co-infection, and it's our special area of interest to deal with HIV and TB co-infection. Once they've been examined, it's time to take some blood and to do some blood work, or they can go straight to the pharmacy and pick up their medications. And once their medications are picked up, they have a final word with the counselor before they leave.
My name is Shiba Manando. I am in grade 5. I learn in Mashbadoni Community School. School mpaka wa CCF wapitilize kupima maskulu yenangu. Mklasi nge tenzo pimisa kapena tina HIV olo kapena tina tudoyo olo kapena tiri.
My name is Blessing Bwalia. I am 12 years old. I learn in Mashbaldon Community School. Tiyonga skomu pali wa TTF wapitilize kupima bantu wenangu maskulu yenangu.
So we'll come back, we have 20 more schools to do, so we'll be back into the compound. We'll also be looking out for pregnant women as we are testing in the schools. So when the parents come, we'll be looking out for the pregnant woman, and if she's pregnant, we'll obviously encourage them to come and test with their children. And then if they're found positive as well, as I said before, they'll be enrolled into Tiny Tim and Friends. So we're really hoping that we reach a high number and we can offer the best service to all the people who identify as being positive.
Some children come to care very late, so they're brought to Tiny Tim and Friends well after the infection has taken hold of their immune system. For some of these kids, it's not possible to get better, or it's very unlikely that they'll get better. And in cases like that, what we need is pediatric palliative care. Our staff has been trained in pediatric palliative care, and we work with 2 or 3 hospices in Zambia to deliver very good class quality palliative care at the end of a child's life or near to the end of a child's life. Of course, the death of a child is always a tragic thing, but in the world of pediatric palliative care, the death of a child is recognized as sometimes inevitable. And when that happens, you need to make sure that the family and even the child is somewhat prepared for this event. After the event takes place, we counsel the family in their post-transition grief. Pediatric palliative care is relatively new to us, but we've taken it on seriously because we've come to understand that some of the children that are referred to us are not going to survive their infection, and there isn't anything that we can do to change that. So what we want to do is make sure that the end of their life is as comfortable and as dignified as possible. I'd like to thank our donors and supporters for all that they've done over the years. Without their support, Tiny Tim and Friends would not have been able to grow and to develop and to help the thousands of children and pregnant women that we've been able to help. Really, we started as a grassroots effort, and we remain a grassroots effort. We hope that we can continue to receive your support and inspire your confidence, because this is what allows us to do the work that we do here, that we love so much. The confidence that our donors place in us is a fuel for us, a fuel to carry on.
Vanina kwana winga